In 1924, geologist Willis T. Lee led the National Geographic Society Carlsbad expedition into the newly designated Carlsbad Cave National Monument. He brought his daughter Elizabeth, age 21, and son Dana, age 19, to assist him in this great underground exploration. A female stands on a sandy cave floor. She is wearing 1920s style clothing.
Hello, I am Elizabeth Lee, and I am part of the National Geographic Society expedition. I would like to tell you a little bit more about our story. We drove up the old Guano Road trail to be able to get into the park. This was the same road that the miners used to haul back guano out of the cave. It took us 2 hours to complete a 30-minute drive because the road was so rutted. On our first attempt, we drove a big Hudson. We had to stop because it was just too dangerous to go on. A few of us got out of the car and hiked the last 1,000 feet up to the cave entrance. On our second attempt, we drove a Model T Ford with a Ruxel axle. We had to drive backwards so that the gas could reach the engine, but we made it up to the entrance of the cave. When we got to the entrance of the cave, we had to take the guano bucket down to the smaller of the two entrances. We were lowered 170 feet through the smaller of the two cave entrances, and it took a while for us to get down there. The guide who was operating the engine tried to be reassuring and comforting to us. He said that the engine doesn't fail often, but when it does fail, he can quickly apply the friction brake so that we don't fall too fast. If we do fall a little faster, he says that there's a lot of soft stuff on the bottom of the shaft for us to cushion our fall. Originally, I was meant to be the secretary of the expedition, but I quickly proved to be a good cave woman. My brother Dana, he was a wonderful secretary, historian, and all-around handyman. He kept a daily journal of our work. There are multiple projects that we're working on. The first was to improve the undeveloped trails within the cave. These trails take visitors to the more spectacular sections. I will always remember the first day that I went down into Lower Cave from the big room.
She points at a cave pit in the distance.
Jim White had constructed a ladder by twisting wire around wooden rungs. The ladder was secure against the wall for the first 20 feet of the climb, but it hung freely for the last 70 feet. It was not secure at the bottom, so it twisted in midair. I hung on tightly. I would climb down and take a break so I could gather my wits. I was so glad when my feet were finally on solid ground again. I was the first woman to enter Lower Cave. I chose not to wear the traditional clothing that women wear to explore caves. I wear men's clothing because they make me look the part of the cave explorer, and they are also easier to wear in the cave. Any number of cowboys accompany the survey teams as we make our way through. They offer to lasso cave features up above us so that we can explore areas that we cannot reach by foot. We use gasoline lanterns because they are brighter and smokeless as compared to kerosene.
She holds up a lantern.
The one problem with the gasoline lanterns is that if we splash gasoline on our skin, it blisters. We also use Welsbach mantles. These mantles are very fragile and incompatible with cave exploration. Any bump of the lantern against the cave plunges us into total darkness. The mantles are very fragile, and we have to carry extras with us. One day, my father and I found ourselves picking our way along an undeveloped trail by the dim light of a shattered mantle. I had tripped earlier in the day and broken the mantle, and my father did not have any extras with him. We were able to safely make it out of the cave, but we should have also been carrying paraffin candles and an electric flashlight. Not only am I a cave explorer, but I am also a guide. I take visitors through the cave as they want to go. One day, Jim White and the other guides were busy leading groups of visitors through. I was the only one left. A group of geology students from a southern school came up to me wanting a tour for their course. I used my knowledge of speleology and geology that I had learned from my father as we went through the cave that day. I assist with multiple projects. I am a photographic advisor. I arrange magnesium flares for light, and I pose for pictures and live-action films. We do not spend all of our time in the cavern. We don't even sleep underground because the air is so damp. When we're moving, we sweat. When we sit down to rest, we become chilled. Like most other people, we do not always feel comfortable down here. Some of us fear cave collapse. We have different projects up on the surface of the earth. My father has his projects, which include the Chihuahuan Desert plant identification, studying the different mammals, hiking, and visiting other towns. I love to paint. I enjoy painting the cactus flowers. My brother Dana has his own projects, including improving the road up into the park. Thank you for spending time with me today. Looks like I have another tour. I must be moving on.
She picks the lantern up and walks off scene behind a large boulder. The expedition lasted for 6 months and cost $16,000. Willis T. Lee remained in the Carlsbad region to continue his explorations. Dana stayed to assist him at the park. Elizabeth would return home to New York. However, nothing on the East Coast could compare to her subterranean adventures. Elizabeth Lee returned to the cavern multiple times throughout her life to visit.